Today, we'll talk about the most terrifying cults in history. Let's uncover stories of strange cults with leaders who convinced followers to believe in unusual things. First on the list, Jonestown, People's Temple, 1978. So, back in the 70s, we've got this charismatic preacher named Jim Jones. He's like, hey, let's create a utopian paradise in the jungles of Guyana, and we'll call it Jonestown. Sounds peachy, right? Wrong. Under Jones's control, Jonestown became a living nightmare. With harsh conditions, forced labor, and mind games that would make your head spin. It's like the worst DIY cult project gone wrong. Now, enter U.S. Congressman Leo Ryan smelling trouble. He decides to investigate the rumors of abuse. Jones, being the paranoid puppet master he is, flips out. Cue a violent showdown and the desperate decision to avoid exposure at all costs. So what's Jones's brilliant plan? Mass murder-suicide. Over 900 people, including innocent kids, drinking cyanide-laced fruit punch. Jones ordered his followers to drink a concoction containing cyanide, which is a highly toxic chemical that interferes with the body's ability to use oxygen. It's like a horror movie, but sadly, it's real life. Jonestown is a chilling reminder that absolute power and blind loyalty can lead to disaster. Heaven's Gate, 1997. It's the late 90s, and a group called Heaven's Gate believes they can hitch a ride on an alien spaceship. The leaders, Marshall Applewhite and Bonnie Nettles, tell their followers that the Hale-Bopp comet is their ticket to an extraterrestrial salvation adventure. Now, fast forward to 1997. To prepare for this cosmic journey, they decide to leave Earth by taking a mix of phenobarbital, a sedative, with applesauce. It's like a deadly dessert, but not in a tasty way. Picture 39 members of Heaven's Gate, all dressed alike in black tracksuits and Nike sneakers. They eat this lethal applesauce combo, thinking they'll shed their bodies and get picked up by the spaceship tailing Hale-Bopp. The tragic part is that they genuinely believed in this bizarre plan, and it ended in the loss of their lives. It's a sad and strange chapter in history that shows how far some people can go when mixed with a blend of sci-fi beliefs and misplaced trust in their leaders. Aum Shinrikyo. Alright, let's break it down. In Japan, year 1995, there's this cult called Aum Shinrikyo, led by a guy named Shoko Asahara. Now, these guys weren't your typical peaceful meditation types. They were all about chaos and crazy beliefs. So one day, they decide to wreak havoc in the Tokyo subway. How? They used sarin gas, a seriously deadly nerve agent. 13 people died, and more than 1,000 got hurt, all because of this cult's twisted plan. Now, why did they do it? Aum Shinrikyo had this mix of wild apocalyptic beliefs and dreams of ruling the world. Asahara, their leader, thought he was some spiritual boss of the universe or something. The Tokyo subway attack was their messed up way of trying to make their apocalyptic dreams come true. It's like they took a bad plot from a sci-fi movie. Aum Shinrikyo teaches us a scary lesson about how extreme beliefs can turn into real-life nightmares. Branch Davidians, 1993. In Waco, Texas, year 1993, a group called the Branch Davidians and their leader, David Koresh, had some pretty out-there ideas. Now, these guys weren't just chilling with their beliefs. They were stockpiling weapons like it was the end of the world. When the law caught wind of it, things got real intense. Law enforcement in Waco, Texas, tried to have a chat with the Branch Davidians, but it turned into a massive standoff. The group barricaded themselves in their compound, and it all hit the fan! The standoff ends tragically. The confrontation ended in a tragic fire that killed more than 70 members, including Koresh. Why? Well, the Branch Davidians believed in some apocalyptic showdown and thought they needed weapons to survive it. Order of the Solar Temple, 1990s. Alright, let's unpack the strange tale of the Order of the Solar Temple in the 90s. Imagine you're in Switzerland, France, or Canada. Not places you'd expect for a cult, but here we go. So Luc Jouret and Joseph DiMambro decide to start this group. Their thing? A crazy mix of Christianity, New Age stuff, and UFO conspiracies. It's like they're throwing every weird idea into a blender. Now, here's the really dark part. Cult got famous for mass suicides. Yeah, People willingly said goodbye to life in the mid-1990s in these 3 countries. Why? Because the cult believed in some cosmic journey to a better life beyond Earth. They thought they were upgrading to a VIP section in the universe or something. The Order of the Solar Temple is a head-scratcher, showing us how weird beliefs can lead to seriously messed up outcomes. Movement for the Restoration of the 10 Commandments of God. In the year 2000, the movement for the restoration of the 10 Commandments of God, led by Joseph Kibwetere, reached a chilling climax. The cult, which initially promised salvation through strict adherence to the 10 Commandments, descended into a horrific series of events. The cult's leadership had convinced its followers that the end of the world was imminent, and salvation could only be achieved through their strict obedience to the commandments. As the millennium approached, tensions within the group escalated. In March 2000, a series of alarming incidents unfolded. Reports indicate that the cult leaders had predicted the apocalypse and promised their followers a divine rendezvous. However, as the prophesied date passed without any cataclysmic event, disillusionment and unrest spread among the members. The disturbing turn of events culminated in a mass murder-suicide or orchestrated mass killing. The exact details remain murky, but it is believed that hundreds of cult members met a tragic end. Some were poisoned, others were stabbed, and reports suggest that a church in southwestern Uganda became a site of mass graves. The irony of the situation was stark. The very commandments meant to guide individuals toward moral goodness were manipulated to orchestrate a gruesome and tragic conclusion. And the last on the list, NXIVM. NXIVM, pronounced NXIVM, was a controversial organization that gained attention for its alleged cult-like activities in the 2010s. NXIVM was an organization founded by Keith Raniere, which initially claimed to offer self-help and personal development programs. However, over time, reports emerged suggesting that the group was involved in more sinister activities. Keith Raniere, the charismatic leader, was accused of manipulating and exploiting his followers. NXIVM Inner Circle, known as DUS, Dominus Obsequious Sororium, was especially controversial. It was described as a secret society within NXIVM that engaged in practices critics deemed as coercive, including alleged branding of members and manipulation. In 2019, Raniere was convicted on multiple charges, including racketeering, sex trafficking, forced labor, and conspiracy. The case exposed the darker side of NXIVM and brought attention to the dangers of charismatic leaders exploiting their followers under the guise of self-help and personal development. As we come to the end of our exploration into the chilling stories of infamous cults, let's reflect on the lessons these tales impart. From the tragic events of Jonestown to the calculated terror of fictitious cults in the digital age, these narratives serve as warnings about the power of charismatic leaders and the dangers of extreme ideologies. These stories remind us to understand the tactics employed by such groups and to safeguard ourselves and our communities. Unlock the world of curiosity. Subscribe to Pretty Nonsense for more mind-bending videos. Hit that subscribe button and let's make sense out of the nonsense together. See you on our next stories.